Hello, I'm James Spencer, founder of Intuitive Wholeness in Long Beach, California. I am a clinical hypnotherapist and psychic and divination specialist with more than 30 years of experience working in psychic development, tarot divination, and metaphysical studies. Today I'd like to introduce you to my psychic development and tarot divination certification course, Level 1. If you are spiritually minded, interested in developing your intuitive abilities, or if you ever wondered whether you could turn your interest in tarot and psychic development into a lucrative professional home-based practice, this course may be an excellent place to begin. So, could psychic development become a career? For some people, what begins as spiritual interest eventually becomes a professional calling. You may already find yourself fascinated by the tarot. Perhaps you've always been intuitive. Maybe you frequently have strong impressions about people or situations, or perhaps you simply have a deep interest in metaphysics that would like to develop these abilities in a more structured way. With appropriate training and practice, you can develop your skills and potentially build them into a professional service. After completing certification course, you may choose to explore opportunities with online psychic services that engage independent contractors, or develop your own private psychic and tarot reading business. And this is where my background also as an artist developer and coach can become particularly useful. I don't just teach you the cards, I can also help students with continual study into business development, branding and website, pricing, and presenting yourself professionally, as well as what to do to audition for psychic lines and how to build a business. So who is this course for? This course is designed for students 18 and older who live in the United States. You can study with me either in person at my private home studio here in Long Beach on the ocean, or you can also study online through Facebook private video. This course is completely one-on-one and private. I do this because each person is different. Each person's psychic abilities are different, and I like to custom my course to you specifically and your talents and needs. That means you aren't sitting in a classroom with 20 other students trying to get your questions answered. We're working directly together. The tuition can be paid in full or also through 3 monthly installments, making the program accessible while still providing an extensive amount of private and independent study. Payment is currently accepted in cash or Zelle transfer. So what is included in this course? This is considered more than just 4 tarot lessons. The program includes private one-on-one instruction, approximately 15 hours of additional video tutorials, your course syllabus and supplemental diagrams, PDF textbooks and study materials, and your private instruction and final examination. You will need to purchase your own Thoth Tarot deck, which is the deck we use throughout this course. That deck can be easily purchased on Amazon, and there's 3 sizes: extra large, regular card size, and mini sizes. Any one is fine, just depending on what you choose. I can also help make recommendations depending on your lifestyle and your needs. I strongly recommend having your deck available before beginning your practice studies with me so that we can work on it at the beginning in between sessions. So how is the course structured? The course is generally organized into 4 90-minute private sessions, followed by a comprehensive review and a final examination. This gives you approximately 6 hours of direct private instruction, supplement material, extensive video tutorials, textbooks, homework, diagrams, and independent study. After successful completing the final, please allow approximately 1 week for your JPEG diploma certification to be prepared. Your certification can be displayed on your website, printed for your professional material, and included with your psychic or tarot resume. Part 1 of the course is the history of the tarot. We begin with the history and the development of the tarot. Understanding where tarot came from gives you a much richer appreciation for what you're actually working with. We then move into the Thoth Tarot system, created through the collaboration of Aleister Crowley and the artwork of Lady Frida Harris. The Thoth deck is an extraordinary complex multi-dimensional deck that gives excellent readings. It combines layers of symbolism, numerology, astrology, elemental correspondence, Kabbalah, and other esoteric systems. You don't have to master every aspect of Western occultism before you can read the tarot, but understanding these systems give you a much deeper vocabulary for interpreting the cards. You will also study then the major and minor arcana. A substantial part of the course is developing to the major and minor arcana of the Thoth deck. We examine the symbolisms and the meaning of individual cards and begin learning how those meanings change depending on the question, surrounding cards, and context of the reading. You'll also begin working with numerology, astrology, and elemental correspondence to add additional dimensions to your interpretation. The goal isn't simply to memorize this card means. Professional tarot readers require learning how to interpret relationship between symbols. The cards form a language, and your job as the reader is to learn how to speak that language. Tarot spreads. You'll learn several practical tarot spreads that you can immediately begin practicing. We begin with a classic 3-card spread, which is an excellent way to develop concise interpretation skills. We then will move on to the elaborate 15-card Golden Dawn style spread, which can be used for comprehensive tarot and psychic readings that can last anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. And this will be the basis of business practice. So usually when you read for people in a private home setting for pay, or through psychic lines, they're usually these longer type readings. We also will explore relationship spreads, and if there's time, also the Celtic spread. And there's different dynamics for each spread. You will learn your tarot life path. That means the birth date that you have is connected to one of the major arcana symbols, or sometimes even 2 symbols, that will give you themes for your life path and themes that will come up a lot through your life. You'll learn how to calculate and interpret your tarot life path and how the system can be used as another tool for exploring personality, developmental themes, and spiritual interests. We will also learn how to cast a full tarot life chart, and this can go from 0 all the way up to even beyond 100, depending on how long someone lives. And this will also show patterns, themes, cycles of people's lives that can be very useful in helping people with things they are dealing with in their life. Developing psychic awareness. Tarot is only part of this course. We'll begin developing your psychic awareness. One exercise involves learning to receive impressions from photographs and objects. Rather than immediately trying to interpret everything intellectually, you'll learn to notice your first impressions. What does this feel like? What images come to your mind? What emotions appear? What sensations develop in your body? What words, colors, memories, scents might pop into your mind? Each person is different, and we will be examining your natural talents. Some people are very visual. We call that clairvoyance. Some people get auditory things. That's clairaudience. Some people feel things deeply, and that's clairsentience. We'll learn different impressions and your natural abilities within psychic awareness. We will also give you an introduction to cold readings. That's where you just have someone in front of you, you pick up on impressions, and you see if you can do psychic reading for them. And this can include observations and things I will tell you about, questioning psychological clues, and differences between inference we'll talk about, neuro-linguistic programming, different things like that, as well as how their astrology birth date can also give you clues to things that are going on. Okay? And then we'll use and apply this. This is a level 1 certification. I want to be very clear about what this course represents. This is level 1 psychic development and tarot divination certification. This is a structural foundation in psychic awareness. Okay, like acting, music, or any other professional discipline, the certification is the beginning of your development, not the end. People that are considering a career as a psychic should constantly be learning and growing. And I also offer additional courses that I can recommend depending on your talents and how you would like to develop. Some of these courses include additional mediumship with paranormal, handwriting analysis is something I teach, batch flower essences I teach, and music therapy, toning, there's energy healing. There's a lot of different aspects. And depending on where your talents lie, I will recommend the next step for you if you continue to want to learn more. Okay? So very, very good. Building a professional practice. So we can discuss also, if you decide to move on to creating a business with this, what you should charge depending on where you live and your market. How do you present yourself professionally? What should a psychic resume contain? How do you approach online psychic services? And what happens during that interview? How do you conduct yourself during professional readings? We will also talk about ethics, how to protect yourself in business, and we will also talk about website development, branding, business strategies, if you like, and so forth. Your next chapter, perhaps you're always known that you're intuitive. Perhaps you've already done some tarot readings. What matters now is your curiosity, discipline, observation, practice, and the willingness to develop these abilities. The world needs you right now. We are in a major world transition of consciousness and energy, and while it might seem on the surface that the world has gone haywire, wacky, we can see this in America, definitely in our government and things like that. So even though it might feel scary, this is a time where we are in a spot of major expansion and awareness, and you can be part of that shift on the planet. Okay? And if you are choosing a career, again, we can work on that. So my final words, my psychic development and tarot divination course is, again, private. For adults 18 and older living in the United States, you will receive the private instruction, approximately 15 additional hours of additional video tutorials, syllabus, diagrams, PDF textbooks, practical exercises and homework, a final review and examination, and your certificate diploma after graduating usually takes about 1 week before it arrives. You'll learn the history of the tarot, the Thoth Tarot major and minor arcana, symbolism, numerology, astrology, spreads, relationship readings, tarot life path work, psychic awareness, introduction to cold readings, and the foundations for developing a professional practice. An excellent value for what you will receive. And remember, certification gives you the foundation to now become a professional practitioner and open your home business. This is James Spencer of Intuitive Wholeness. Space in my private certification program goes very quickly in the fall. So call me at the phone number displayed at the end of this video to make an inquiry. We can set up a time to talk, discuss your needs, look at availability, and get you started. Okay? Usually I say for this course, the course usually is done in 2 months, but we can go to 3 months just depending on scheduling and so forth. Okay? And like I said, 4 90-minute sessions, then a final. Then a review and then a final. I look forward to seeing you in future videos. Feel free to like my YouTube channel. You may also leave any questions in the comment section, or like I said, just call for inquiry. Thank you so much. I look forward to working with you. I think you're going to love this. I've seen this change lives. It is super fun. It's super relaxing. And in the world we live in, to take that time to be developing your awareness, your spiritual sovereignty, being able to adapt to a changing world is really powerful. Thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you in the fall with this course. Thank you.